Hey guys, welcome back to the Millennial Mentality Podcast. I am your host, Nick Agnelli, here with my co-host, Peter Price.
You.
Our two guests today, Hunter Hutchings and Ryan Cross.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. Our support means the world to us, guys. We're trying to spread our word and keep pushing this message, so thank you guys for that.
Yeah.
Super excited for the episode today, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
A few band members, crazy rock stars on our show today. Before the podcast, we were talking about a few bars in Lake Worth that were open pretty late.
Early. Depends on early. Yeah. Are you even familiar with that world at all? Like, what's the latest you've ever been to a bar, Nick?
Okay, so maybe two, like literally.
Yeah.
Seriously, the first question that pops up in my mind is: at what point does it become from late night to an early morning? You know, at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. What is that crossover?
That's a blurry
I feel like
line
the
to
sun
cross.
plays a role.
Yeah, the sun. Hey.
I never remember when it happens. It's just
Yeah,
you walk out in the bar, you walk in and it's dark, and you walk out and it's light. And
Right. It's like when you're at the movie theater or something, you walk out, it's still daytime, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where was I?
Yeah.
No, it's for me. It's like when you take that one shot of whiskey, the one that really puts you over the edge. It's like you do it like, oh, I shouldn't have done
Shouldn't
that.
have done
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that's when it starts getting pretty hectic. for me.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Now you guys are in a band.
Yep.
What's the name of that band?
It's called Spread the Dub.
Spread the Dub.
Yep.
And when was that band created?
About a decade ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
created.
think we're going on 12 years now.
12 years.
We've been saying a decade for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
It's true. We had a 10-year anniversary a couple of years ago.
Really?
So 12.
You guys have been on the block for a long time. Like, I
Yeah.
remember when I was 17, just getting started at Bradley's, you guys were already well established.
Yeah. We used to do
I
our Monday
remember
night
when you
reggae.
started at Bradley.
Yeah, dude, Monday night reggaes were my shit.
Yeah, man.
Now, how did you guys cultivate the band? Who really was the nucleus behind it?
So the original guys that are still in the band, or because some of the original guys are Mick, our singer,
Yeah.
and Kevin, our bass player, and they started it Mick started it years back at this place called the Funky Biscuit, and they were doing jam night. It was like a reggae jam
Yeah.
night, and they'd have a bunch of people just come in and sit in, and then it turned into a band from there. And long story short, 12 years have gone by, and we've went through some members. We've been, out overseas to England and
Yeah.
through the nation, and
It's pretty impressive what you
travel.
guys have done, to be honest, man. Like, you have not only created such a name for yourself downtown in the local West Palm area, but like you were just saying, you've traveled all over the place, and you've really even just for the band to have survived 12 years and still be doing your thing, and making, not only still doing it, but growing exponentially,
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Well, that's my question. Was there a plateau to the band, or do you guys continue? I guess my question is, after 12 years, how do you, almost like a sex life with a marriage, how do you spice things up? How do you keep it going?
I mean, it is like that a little bit without the sex part, but
Well,
some of us. I can't speak for all of us. But yeah, we're always trying to keep it interesting and developing new. Once we got hit with this COVID stuff and all that, we got really kind of put on halt for a bit. So we opened up our own music studio in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And we offer, rehearsal space and recording, tracking for people, video production and stuff.
Really?
So that's a new project we've gone through. And as far as that, we do, special shows and stuff. We'll do tribute shows. We just did one for the Clash down in Boca at 3rd and 3rd.
Okay.
But you always got to put something on there to keep it interesting because we're like brothers. We fight like brothers.
Yeah.
We make up like brothers. But yeah,
Is there someone that starts most of the fights? The drama queen?
No, we all take turns, man.
Yeah.
we all take turns.
We're all
with the
pretty good
fights.
at apologizing.
Yeah.
That's good.
At 3:00 in the morning at the bar, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean it, man.
Let me order you that shot that you don't need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what position? I guess positions you could tell, but what do you play?
He plays lead guitar and I do drums.
Okay.
So I'm not really a musician, and that's their joke.
Is that the
Depends
thing
on
in
things.
Oh
the
my
music
God,
industry?
That's like the number one joke you hear as a drummer. Is
Really?
You've said it to me before.
Hunter's actually been spreading that rumor.
I don't know where you've heard that before.
It's like how people say chiropractors aren't real doctors.
Well, they're not.
Is that how you feel? I really have never been to one. I don't.
I've never been to one either, but you don't need a.
I just got
you
into
don't need a doctor to be a
acupuncture. That's
chiropractor.
something new.
do
You don't?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. I barely went to college. So.
Now, what,
Barely went to college.
what genre would you consider your band?
So we're mostly, it kind of started in a reggae dub genre. And then we're kind of transitioning a little bit with the horn section and everything into more of a ska which is kind of like the roots and the foundation for where reggae and all
Ska?
that
Is that what you said?
Yep, ska. We're bringing it back. You know,
What's
thing
that mean?
happened
I've
in
never
the
heard of that.
90s.
You never heard of
No.
that? It's like
SKA?
yeah, like Real Big Fish or
No Doubt.
No Doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you ever heard of those
That's the
bands?
genre?
Yeah.
Ska?
Yeah, it was big in the 90s.
Oh.
So
Okay, cool.
It's like an upbeat kind of reggae kind of deal with a horn section and
Like tin drums and all that vibe?
No more. God, that's hard to explain. It's like you take a reggae beat and then double the speed and then add like a fun punchy horn line to it.
Okay.
That'd be my best description of ska.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like
maybe
a
the
little
new
rock
age
mixed
ska,
with reggae
like
kind of
they
stuff.
have what's that called?
Like the interrupters that are big now.
Yeah, I don't know. Music is always evolving.
Yeah.
So it's especially nowadays, it's hard to really pinpoint a genre anybody's in. And I think especially with like what happened with the music industry and the internet, there's so much collaboration going on and eclectic people who are taking styles from different types of music and adding it into their stuff. It's really hard to just say I'm this or I'm that.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't like to at least put myself into a category to where
It boxes you in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah.
influences. Everything from soul to R&B. There's some hip hop elements that get thrown into things every now and then. But you know, we always keep it interesting. We always have people come up to jam that bring different aspects into it as well.
Are you classically trained? Can you guys read music, or is it kind of like something? Eh,
I
I've
can.
done a little bit
Yeah,
of both.
yeah.
But
I went to I was in a very successful marching band program in high school that was like a marching band magnet. So I was in the drum line. So I know how to read rhythms. Not like I couldn't play you a piano score, but I can read like a snare etude.
Okay.
Maybe not now. I haven't done it in a while. That's
Yeah.
something you gotta like practice. But at one point in time, I could.
That's kind of cool.
Now, when you play these shows, we talk to the DJs that come on here about it. Are you guys single?
I just got engaged.
Okay,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am single. Yeah.
Okay, now Ryan, when you're playing the drums and as a single guy, you got fans out there and watching. You trying to make eye contact with the fans, the ladies out there? How's that working?
Yes and no. It depends. I will say that it is very, very obvious which girl is going to go home with you that night.
That's
like,
funny.
You can, like,
Really?
or at least that are interested in you. You can you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell the vibe from stage.
That's
and,
so
yeah,
funny.
you peek some things, but for the most part, it's like I'll see like, oh yeah, I see you looking at me. Then I'm gonna act exuberant, and be like, do all this cool stuff.
Flip the sticks
my
up,
hair, do all that
Starts just
stuff.
seeing one Hawkeye on you from across the room. He doesn't get it because he's in the back, but they'll come up and drop notes in front of me and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Really?
Yeah, I get hidden a lot, but there is one thing I will say about trying to pick up women at shows is in a band. We're working. No, we're like it's a job. You gotta go an hour early, set up all your stuff, and then in between sets, we'll usually play like 3 45-minute sets with like a 15 or 20 minute break.
Yep.
So you have 15 minutes in between the first and second set, and then 15 minutes in between the second and third set for you to convince that girl to stay there for the hour that you have to set and break down. Okay, and usually by then they're drunk and they've already forgotten about you.
Their friends are pulling on them.
Yeah, so that is the challenge, I would say, at least for
That's
me.
funny, man.
Grabbing a chick after a show. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And that's why you go to bars till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Because when you're done playing a show, there's always the stragglers.
Tell us that breakdown again, because we were talking about it off camera. But what's the lineup for the late night in Lake Worth?
Okay, so late night in Lake Worth. You know, it's funny. Me and a couple of friends are side projecting a song exactly about this. I'll be sure to send it to you guys when it's done.
Beautiful.
But,
Blackout Lake Worth is
So Lake Worth, most of the bars close around 2 a.m., like Propaganda or Rum Shack or anything like that. Our local watering holes we go to all the time. So after that, you got this place called Sneakers, which is a wonderful establishment, very clean bathrooms. That was really sarcastic if you couldn't catch that on the microphone. So that stays open till 5 o'clock. Now, at 5 o'clock, I don't know if I'm going to get these people in trouble. I don't think they're allowed to stay open. Maybe they're okay.
We'll bleep out the names. We'll bleep out the
At
names.
5 o'clock, there's this place that rhymes with Schmillies. And that place is open till 7. And then when that closes, Sneakers opens back up at 7. And so you can sit at a bar 24/7 in Lake Worth if you really wanted to.
Oh man, that's incredible.
At what point are you like, I need to get nutrients in my body, I'm going to eat breakfast? Or is that just roll over?
Oh,
And
man.
what day are you in? Are you in the previous day? So say you do this on like a Thursday night, where's your head at as far as like?
Dude, these are existential questions.
Yeah.
If I knew the answers to these questions, I probably wouldn't be doing it.
That's great,
It's like
man.
his two brain cells are just like arguing in his head, like stay, bro, go.
No, they both say stay.
Yeah.
I've been there before. I mean, not necessarily at 7:30 in the morning, but definitely driving home from somewhere while the sun's coming up, feeling bad. And there's nothing to like remind you what you've just done the night before than like seeing the crossing guard letting kids cross the street and shit, and like there's a bus.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh fuck, man, what am I doing here?
When I was living downtown, I lived right next to the hard exercise work. So I'd be getting home at like 5:30, 6
People are
o'clock
living
in the
their
morning.
best lives,
They're
working out.
throwing tires down the street. And I'm just,
Yeah.
man, what are you going to be doing that?
God damn it. You're just as sweaty as they are, but not for the same reason.
No.
I just remembered you asked me my latest night ever.
Yeah.
It was 4:30 a.m. Rachel's night.
Wow,
Yeah,
dude,
so we
you're
went
nuts.
from a bar to Rachel's. And
Yeah.
It was sick, dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking throwing dollars for titties. But
Could
no,
you imagine going for 4 more hours after that?
No, I mean, what's your latest night? Latest day?
Yeah, it's one of those days. I probably have drove home at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
But I wasn't at like a bar. It was one of those after you leave Monroe's, let's go to this house and party, and then
Okay.
that never closes, you know? So it's really
Yeah.
just whenever you decide you're done being a degenerate.
Yeah, and go and get brunch, and then you just keep that ball rolling.
Go
Yeah.
on, baby.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, a few mimosas will perk you right.
Yeah. Now, do you guys write your own music? Do you cover?
We do.
What is it?
We do a little bit of both.
Okay.
So like the market around here is like a lot of cover shows and stuff like that. A lot of people are going to ask you for that when you go out to the bars and stuff like that. There's going to be people wanting something they know. But at the same time, we've written 3 albums, and we incorporate all that music into our sets and
Okay.
stuff like that too. But you have your cover shows that you play around here to keep busy and keep your money going, and then like once in a while we get the big shows where the artists will come through and we open direct support for them. Or
Awesome.
people ask us to go on the road and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and that's where you're showcasing your original stuff.
Oh,
And
shit.
there's a
So-
few places that allow you to do that around here still, like Propaganda, Lake Worth, Respectable Street. But those are venues versus like a bar. you know.
Correct.
Sure.
But we do both.
What's the biggest, I'd say, band you've ever opened up for, you think?
My personal favorite one that we've ever did was a punk band called No Effects, and we did that down at Revolution, and that was a pretty big show, packed house. But those are just like idols of ours that we got
Yeah.
to open up for. But the biggest shows we've probably done are like Sunfest. We've done a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, sick.
Was that as you expected? I'd say as far as like
yeah,
the whole
the
ambiance?
first time we played it, we played the main stage, middle of the day. And It was
Really?
excellent. But
And
then
did you
again,
guys
like,
grow up
last
around
time-
here?
I'm from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So like you grew up going to Sunfest,
Yeah,
and like
so
so
it's
was
something
it,
you
what
always
was
wanted to
that
do.
feeling like? You know, being the
Oh,
band on
good.
stage where you've like witnessed
Yeah.
this.
It's
as a
something
kid.
you've always wanted to do, and then we've been lucky enough to do it like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
Yeah,
bet.
we had to change our name one year because they're only allowed to like let you play once every so often.
You
Bands.
changed the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed the name. Yeah.
What was the name that year?
What was it?
I wasn't even in the band yet.
Shoot, this is gonna come to me. The Replacements or something like
Something-
that.
something.
The
It's
Regulators,
appropriate.
That's what
You
it
know,
was.
and it's
yeah.
funny. It's funny. One of our old members, or one of our old saxophone players, is actually on the board for choosing the bands this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So maybe we were playing a
Sliding
No. This is the thing. The rest of the board were like, before you even asked. This is what he told me before they were even asked. And before you think about it, Spread the Dove is not playing.
So we're off limits.
It worked
this year.
against you, huh?
Yeah. So we will not be playing Sunfest.
Okay.
We're gonna play the anti-Sunfest show. We're gonna set that up.
Unless they ask us to play under a different name again, then you know.
Right.
If anybody needs a drummer and a guitarist for their band at Sunfest, you let us know.
Now, are the Butterflies still there after all these years? If you open up for a big show or something like that? Or is it across the board?
Like being
Well, that's what
nervous?
these are for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like, okay, so say you played a local bar that you know, and you know everyone that's going to be there compared to like a Sunfest, right? Is there a huge difference in the way you feel opening and going into it, or is it kind of...
For me, because like it's when you're playing something like that, it's easy to fix a mistake or hide behind something else that's going on there. But when you're on a big stage like that and they're miking you up and you're heard on every speaker across the whole festival grounds, like you make one little mistake or have one electrical mechanical issue and then you're in trouble. And everybody's watching, so you get a little nervous about that and you have nightmares about it sometimes.
Has there been any real life scenarios like that?
Not necessarily, no. Knock on wood. We've been
Yeah,
pretty
good
lucky
shit.
with that. But, there's always a little bit of liquid courage. And once you start hanging out with the boys and setting up, it's just like, one stage is another, so you're
I feel
just
like the
used to it.
nervousness gets cut. Like, I would say the most amount of nerve, it's always in, like, the first the first like 30 seconds of
Yeah.
play, and like once you start getting into the groove, at least for me, because like I gotta sit in the back, so like there's a lot of like I can close my eyes and still kind of play and like not have to pay attention. Like, a shit ton of people stare right at your face, you know. So for me, it's like within the first 30 seconds, like once you get into your groove, it's kind of just like it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
And especially how much we play all the time, and for like me and him, even before like we were both in Spread the Dub, we've been gigging in different bands for like I've been doing it for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
So like, but it's still there sometimes. I'd say
Yeah. And I mean, we've been playing with another group too. Sierra Lane has been having us on some big shows and stuff for some acts. She's getting really big around here. She plays over in the west coast of Tampa.
Cool.
We play this big venue over there called Janice. And that one, I think that was the last time I got a little nervousness because like we don't play with her often.
Yeah, we don't know.
We start seeing the lights come on, and the big crowd, and you're like, oh man, I was like, I hope I don't mess this one up.
I'm going on tour with her next week.
Yeah.
Really?
2 minutes into it, you're just like, I got this.
Right. So I almost feel that way about the podcast sometimes too. Like I've gotten much more comfortable on camera than I was when we first started this. Because prior to doing this, I'd really never been on camera to speak before for anything. But even still, I'll notice sometimes like, while I'm here, we're waiting for the guests to show up. I'll feel a little like anxious or nervous.
I had a little bit of butterflies about coming to do this.
But as soon as we start and we start talking, you almost like it goes away, you know. And now you're just kind of going with the flow.
That's like you put me on a stage in front of hundreds of people, I'll be fine. But like coming to do something like this and like talk,
that's pretty funny.
I say stupid things sometimes. I hope it don't come out.
I say stupid things all the time.
But maybe that's why we're here.
You guys picked the right.
Our people love that.
Now, I'm not musically inclined in any sense. I always say that. But, like, okay, so say you're going to play a show with this lady, right? How do you study the music? Like, how do you go into it knowing 10 songs? Like, from a guitar... Okay. So
I'm sorry.
No. So that's the answer. And like, how much time does that take for you to, with your fingers and you with your hands, to be like, okay, this is muscle memory at this point, you know?
Muscle memory, I would say, takes a while.
It takes a few weeks at least of running these songs for like a big show to really get embedded into your head.
Yeah,
and it's different for drums and guitar. Like for me, like honestly, I can learn stuff. I can learn a song by listening to it in my car and tapping, and like even though it's not on a drum set, putting the rhythm to my hands is a big part of doing that. And with guitarists, like if he's at work and he doesn't have a guitar, he can't just like, oh yeah, this is E, and he has to learn the notes, the chord progressions, the keys, and all that stuff. So there's definitely different. There's a different learning curve for each, and especially what you're doing, lead guitar, rhythm guitar, if you have to sing or not. Yeah. But yeah, it's like anything in life, man. You got to put in the work.
Yeah, you know? It keeps it interesting, you know, having to train your brain to like relearn all these things that you already know, but you got to put them in different pieces. You know, it's building a puzzle all the time.
Are you guys typically doing that rehearsal together as a band, or is it kind of on you individually to have your shit together by the time the show comes?
A little bit of both.
So before you guys had the studio, where were you getting your rehearsals in?
We were doing other friends of ours, other musicians in the area had studios and stuff that we would go to and rent out their spaces.
Yeah.
But it just never was like a place you go to anytime you wanted to. Like you had to fit in availability, and like some of our schedules are pretty busy, and especially with our show schedule, it's busy. So like it was kind of on us, and we're just like, we should make our own place. You know?
Yeah, I want to dive into that a little bit because it sounds like, I mean, a win-win situation, you know? Now you have your own personal space to work out of whenever you need to, but you're also renting it out to other artists that need studio space?
Yep. So
that's pretty fucking awesome.
Here, he's going there to run a rehearsal for another local act and stuff. So it's cool because it's like, you know, by musicians for musicians. So we're meeting a lot of people through it, and a lot of people are kind of meeting us and getting stuff that they need to start getting into the industry here. So we highly encourage anybody that wants to know the ropes of booking and like getting in touch with the right people and stuff. We kind of will help people out. And
that's super cool.
We record them and tell them what we think, and like any advice we can offer, we'll give. And
do you guys like? Is it I guess also how much like mixing and mastering or like post stuff goes into raw music like what you do? Like I know with rap it's like 50-50 almost. You know, you're literally building the beat and like tweaking a lot of shit. Does that happen when you're using real instruments also?
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different world. I was just having this conversation the other day. Like when you sequence drum beats, you have a grid. So you set your metronome up, and you have literal lines that you can follow and place those beats exactly. When you're laying live drums is probably the hardest thing to do about recording a live band because you need.
What's that grid showing you? Like the tempo? Or?
Yeah. The tempo and then the subdivisions of the tempo. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the eighth note is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in. So you can set that grid and then place that note wherever you want to on there, and it'll be perfectly in time. And
digitally, we're talking now.
Yeah, exactly. And then each one of those beats set up by MIDI they all sound good individually. Like it's an individual snare hit, it's going to sound exactly the same.
Right.
Or if you want it changed, you can. And I guess that's the difference of mixing like a hip hop beat or like a live band. I say just as much work goes into it, but it's a different kind of mixing and mastering, I would say.
Is there still like a producer in the studio or an engineer? I don't know what the proper term is.
Yeah. We have somebody sitting there like running all right, you're good. Yeah. We're starting here, and then like if you mess up, we can punch you in right there. Right. So like versus the old day where you're running tape and stuff like that, you'd have to start the whole thing over. Yeah. But now we can just punch in here and there and kind of blend it all together. Then you got things like guitar tones and stuff that you want to polish up. And
does the band all do that? Well, okay, so now I guess I'm saying when you're recording a song, are you recording the whole band playing it at the same time, or do you record one instrument at a time?
Yeah, you usually do like a rhythm section first, the bass and the drums, and you get the beat down, and then you start layering it. Then you'll put it in over top the lead guitar, the rhythm guitars. And then last, you'll do the vocals and stuff like that.
And I guess that way, too, if one person messes up their thing, everyone doesn't have to start the whole song
exactly.
over.
It all depends. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Like when we do some recordings for bands at our studio, and we don't really have the facility to, you can't do everybody together. It's all about isolating each thing. So if you had a room where you can set up a drum set and then have like a really soundproof closet to put in the guitar amp, you can have everybody in the same room looking at each other. Because when I'm playing, I'm looking at the bass player's hands, I'm looking at Hunter, at what he's doing on guitar, and all those cues to me make me feel comfortable in it, but it gives it a more live feel to the song. Yeah. As opposed to if I just go in there and play my drum beat to a metronome, it's kind of flat.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it'll be so minuscule and nobody else would be able to tell, I would.
Yeah, right.
Yes, you can do it different ways. You can do a full live recording, or you can...
both exist. Yeah. That was kind of an interesting point that you made, though. Like, when you guys are playing a song even live, you're looking at, like, what the other guys are doing to keep you on point with, like, your timing and cues. It's not like you just know the exact...
Oh, I do, but it's like I don't play everything the same way twice. Neither does
We're really good at like improvising and playing. Yeah. We've been playing together for so long that we know how to fit into a groove together, and no matter what's going on.
Isn't the drums the foundation though? Because that's the beat.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Drums and bass together, bass guitar especially.
And they want to say you're not a musician.
Yeah, nobody knows who the bass player is. Don't even get started.
Nobody knows who the bass player is.
He's the most important guy. Don't ever tell him I said that.
It's definitely the foundation. You could say this, like if Hunter drops out on if Hunter breaks a string and can't play the song, it's not as bad as if I just completely stop playing the whole fucking song.
And this is the band drama.
This is how we started playing.
I could totally see how this is a problem at Sneakers or Skechers or whatever the fuck it is.
I do all the work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Where'd the band name come from?
So it came from
Skechers again.
Yeah, it came from I guess originally when they were doing the jam stuff, there was this chef who actually just started talking a bunch of shit on our social media page.
We're getting some bad Yelp reviews.
But we're getting some negative reviews. But anyways, this chef started a company called Spread the Love, and it was a cream cheese company. So he was Spread the Love Cream Cheese Company. He was the original drummer. I guess he played percussions. They didn't even have a whole drum kit or whatever.
Damn.
Didgeridoo in the back. Who fucking knows? But anyways. So then they were like, oh, well, dub's the kind of music we're playing, so we'll call it Spread the Dub. And then they had this Russian guitar player who did not speak English well or write and read English well, so he spelled spread S-P-R-E-D. So it stuck, because that was what was on the first flyer. So it Spread the Dub.
That's funny.
But if you spell it with an A, you'll never find us. You got to spell it S-P-R-E-D. And the amount of times I have to say that on a daily basis.
Well, I'm glad you said it because like I wouldn't have typed it right in the description probably when we put your links and shit.
I'll try and cash a check that has.
I might have made. Well, you guys never played a Kachita or anything. I never wrote you any checks.
Yeah,
No, you guys are too fancy for us.
we did Nick and Johnny's though.
Yeah, right.
Have you done almost every bar around?
Pretty much everyone that has live music we've played
as
in.
far as I
Just
can
about.
remember.
Yeah.
What's your favorite local bar, I would say?
That won't get you in any trouble.
yeah.
If they have to answer that.
I mean, we have so many favorites in different ways. Propaganda is always home base. That's where we all got our start, and that's the one that lets us be who we are. And
Yeah.
we have a great time there, and it's, you know, a bunch of friends of ours that own the place and hang out at the place. So that one's a good one. We love Third and Third in Delray. They're very hospitable.
Is that on the app?
That's right on 3rd Street and 3rd Ave.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're great.
Third and
hosts,
Third.
And there's always a packed house.
Yeah.
Crazy Uncle Mike's in Boca is a great venue.
Bradley's too, you know.
Bradley's.
You know, they've
They're
done
home
a
away
lot
from
for us
home.
too.
Yeah, we've been there for 10 years now.
Monday Night Reggae's will like forever be a part of like me growing up as a kid. You know,
Yeah,
Monday
for
Night
sure.
Reggae's were like a staple.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen a lot of people come and go through that place.
Yeah.
You're
real.
one of our favorites.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thank you.
So I asked the DJs this. I said, you know, like whenever you play a song as a DJ and like you see the crowd and no one's dancing or it's not hitting, like, you know, how do you do that? As a band, when you're playing live music, if you're playing a set or you're in the middle of a set and it's not jiving, is it kind of like, hey, this is it, we are who we are, we're going to continue to go? Or do you guys switch that up and kind of maneuver as you're playing?
We kind of have that vibe where it's kind of like we're playing. If you don't like it, I mean, just hang around till the next one. But like, we kind of keep it going, you know. And like,
There's an extent to where we read the crowd and be like, oh, like let's play
we'll
this
stop
song.
it short or something like
Yeah.
that. But like, you know, we won't come out with a heavy song if we're playing a brunch, or you know,
Right,
we're not
right.
gonna play light stuff if we're playing to a couple hundred people in a big show and stuff like that. But
There's
you got to read a crowd like a DJ would.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's a set amount of songs that we know. We don't have.
Right, I guess that was his point too.
You can't fade out into the next song real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
You're like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr."
Exactly.
Next.
DJs have every
No disrespect,
every song
I've
on the
DJed
internet.
before.
No,
I
right.
don't do that.
We should do that. I need one of those things.
Ryan has his Merchant Club cannons in the back. He starts
Anytime there's a technical issue.
yeah.
That's not what I think you guys do.
That's fucking funny.
But yeah, you definitely kind of got to own up to your song choice for a little bit when you're a full band, because you got to
Sure.
got 6 people to stop at the same time and kind of switch into a different.
But I guess
gear.
also the difference there is like when you're a DJ or you're hiring a DJ or you're working as a DJ, there's no limit to like what you have access to, you know,
Yeah.
song wise. So like if your set isn't hitting, it's sort of on the DJ to change that and play to the crowd.
Sure.
In your scenario, it's sort of on like the manager that booked the
Yeah.
band for
Oh,
booking
yeah.
a band that doesn't suit the crowd, right? Like you
Right.
guys are Spread the Dub, you play what Spread the Dub plays. If this is not a Spread the Dub crowd,
What the fuck?
what the fuck are we supposed to do about it? You know, like why'd the
Yeah.
manager book us?
Luckily, we play a genre of music that's pretty well accepted.
Right. It's
on
not
all
too,
forms, but like, you know, if you booked us for Metal Fest or something like that,
Right,
we'd get
right.
a couple awkward looks, but there'd be one or two people there who'd be like, all right.
This is
It's not like offensive in any way. There's no way I don't see how anyone could like watch a Spread the Dub set and be like, get me the fuck out of here. You know?
Well,
like,
when
it's-
You'd be surprised.
When we play
Are you serious?
when we play the big Jamaican fest, they're just like, this is not like reggae. Like this is get out of here.
I
with this
guess.
shit. But there's like a few of them that are like,
Why? Because they're like
"Ah,
reggae connoisseurs.
Well, because those fests, it's like the Jerk Fest and stuff like that. Like reggae is really kind of different now. Now it's dance hall and stuff like that. And like
Okay.
the stuff we're playing, they're like, oh, it's my grandpa's music. You know?
Oh,
Because we like traditional kind of style and stuff. But there's
That's
always a
funny.
couple old timers and stuff there that really like it and like know a couple of the covers that we're doing. But
Good.
when you're recording the movie with Freddie Mercury in that band. What's Freddie Mercury? The fucking
the Queen movie.
yeah.
I forget what it was called.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
In that movie, they show how like the intricacy of a band when they're recording, how you know everyone will think it's good, and one guy will think it's like that's not it, right? Or you'll have the manager come in and say that was shit. Keep going. Is that ever a problem with you, where like you thought you slammed the guitar, your bass things, you know, guys slapping it, you know, and the singer was like, that's not it. And you're like, dude, it is, you know, like that was it. Is that ever a problem, you know?
I mean, it can't. I mean, yeah, it's definitely happened. I mean, I think the last time we tried to record, I wrote a guitar part, and then somebody came in and they're just like, nah, we got to redo that. And I was like, all right, fine. But now that we have our own studio, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll sit with it again. But I mean, we all really respect each other's opinions in this band. Sure. So it's nice to get an outside ear on things sometimes, and then just change it up. And sometimes it works. I mean, we write well together, and that's important. Is kind of just taking everybody's opinion and kind of making something new from that. And
do you guys have a manager?
We kind of all take our role in it.
Yeah, right. But there's no third party that's not a band member that oversees everything.
Not really.
No, we probably should.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have another voice of reason there.
Sure.
That's not one of us. We'd probably fight a lot less.
Well, and also it's nice to have someone be the asshole when you're booking shows or stuff, and it's
right.
I've always said we should at least when we're answering emails, call ourselves the manager and not say
pretend like you're not one of the band members.
So you could be a dickhead and be like, no, we need this amount of money.
Because that's nice to have when your friend's like, hey man, can you play my wedding? It's like,
talk to my manager. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, especially because weddings fucking suck to play.
You don't like weddings?
No, that's the thing. You always have the old mother-in-law or the grandma in the front that's like, turn it down, and then and you could literally watch. Because they'll always book DJs well. Yeah. So there'll always be a DJ in a live band. Everybody will leave the dance floor for the band, and everyone will come back for the DJ.
Chill your last set, and then everybody's had enough to drink.
Yeah, it's like a 7th grade dance. It takes a while for people to get on the dance
for sure, and that's one thing about shows and stuff, too. The earlier they are, people are still getting adjusted, so sometimes it's hard being an opener for big bands because people are just filling in. Kind of awkward, but then once the hype starts going, once people get drinks in them, man, it's just anybody. It's very easy to open up to,
What's the craziest or funnest experience you've ever had? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Definitely, I would say Boomtown when we went to England.
Yeah, we put this really cool festival out in England, and it was just next level. They had different themes for every state. I think there was 400 stages.
Oh my gosh.
1,000 bands, but each stage is different themes. So there's of course 10 main big stages, but then there's hidden stages in every little department. There's a pirate town. There's a Wild West town.
There's over 2 square kilometers too, on a country an English country hillside. Too.
Really?
Yeah, we're all Florida born and raised. We're used to flat ground, so walking up and down these hills for 4 days just killing you. And you're waking up in cow pastures in the middle of England. Every time you tried to speak to somebody's like, "What accent is that?" Us trying to find drugs at an English music festival was really hard.
We did though.
It was really hard. Nobody took us for granted. They're like,
should we tell them that story? Me and Hunter have a really good story about this.
Let's hear it.
God, yeah, the ride, the big ride.
Tripping balls on acid, and he didn't tell me that he didn't like rides.
I'm not a big roller coaster guy. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know. It's really weird. So you go into this thing. It's really it's a tent with nothing, and it just says the big ride. And
I wonder what this is.
And the acid is not hit yet. We kind of been walking around for the past hour waiting for this acid to kick in. So we get into this fucking room, and it's dimly lit with shuddering lights. There's a guy on a unicycle playing a saxophone and shit written backwards on the walls. And I swear to you, as soon as I walked in there, it just hit, and I'm tripping. I'm like, what is going on?
He's in front of me, and he's like, well, you go first. He's behind me, and I'm like, all right, sure, I'll go first. And then
and they this lady shoves him through this other you don't see what's going on. They shove him through this 2 curtains open up, and they put him through. And I'm like, whoa. And she's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. And they're like, well, you got to go through. And I'm like, no. So I leave. I just walk out, and I go up to the guy at the front. I was like, where did my friend go? And they're like, oh, yeah, the ride puts you at, the other end of the place, which is honestly, 1.5 miles away. And I'm
farther than that, it seems
I'm
uphill both ways.
I'm freaking out on this guy. I'm like, what the fuck did you do to my friend? What the fuck did you do to my friend? Hunter comes around the corner laughing his fucking ass off. And then, because I didn't know what happened. Hunter, tell him what the big ride was.
So you go through the door, they push me through, and there's just a guy sitting there with a tricycle, and he's just, not saying anything. And I'm like, what? He's like... So I sit on the tricycle, and he pushes me, and he's like, the big ride.
Yeah.
I'm cheesing, laughing my ass off. I go running around the corner. Come running around the corner, so excited, about what just happened. And kind of pissed at the same time, because we waited an hour for this. And there's Ryan sitting there in this guy's face, just where's my friend? Yeah. I come up and hug him, and he's like, how'd you get here so fast? I was like, I only had to take a tricycle to get here.
That's so fucking
But then we
funny.
went and there's a Disney.
There's a Disney cover band playing.
Yeah,
right
all
next
dressed up, right next up, and the acid really kicked in. We had the best night of our
Oh,
lives.
It was a lot of fun.
Also on the
It's like in
memory.
That's a
reality.
Disney cover band.
They were singing Bare Necessities when we came out.
It's
Yeah.
the band.
That's
Oh
pretty
my
fun.
god!
Yeah, but they would do it in different styles. They did like some Little Mermaid songs and stuff. It was,
That is so
awesome.
funny,
It was
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking like this is their version of it, but
Yeah.
they were tripping. So in reality, there was it was an actual bicycle. The words were written right. It was the little ride, you know.
It was for toddlers.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
You could be right. You could be right.
Yeah.
That's so
Like,
fucking
why are these
funny.
two grown ass men in this line, you know?
Yeah, it could have been that way completely.
That's good, dude.
What is on the topic of drugs? What is your favorite drug? You think?
Damn, dude.
Uh,
I like them all.
please
I mean,
flip.
yeah, that's an awkward question.
I like psychedelics, man. It really opens up your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably has changed my personality a couple times, and it's definitely got me to see what else is out there that you can't see.
Yeah, right.
And it really,
View yourself from a different perspective.
yeah, you view
Yeah.
the whole world from a different
Yeah.
perspective, and there's things that the human elements can't see and all that, and it just opens up, I guess, your third eye and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
DMT was really cool. I mean, and
Yeah,
like since
I've
we're
done that.
since we're doing the whole Joe Rogan podcast, bro, I saw aliens and it opened my eyes.
Yeah.
No, it was DMT was super rad. It was a cool drug because you hit it and you literally go into like a fucking different world for 15 minutes and you just snap out of it and you're fine. There's like no hangover, no nothing.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
Oh my god, yeah.
And DMT is a cousin of acid? Like what? Just because I don't know. Like
Dude,
what?
My understanding of it is it's a chemical compound. DMT like stands for dimethyltryptamine or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
THC stands for
Okay,
something.
yeah, yeah.
DMT, but it's also a compound that's like your brain already produces naturally in your
Okay.
body, but obviously at like a small level that
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
tripping balls off of. But when like you smoke DMT or you take that drug, it's like I think it's cultivated from like a tree bark or some shit like that.
Yeah, and a lot of living plants have it in them. It's all
Okay.
you gotta like extract it from
Okay.
them.
Right,
And
right.
like Pete said, it like
Your
brain-
body produces it.
and your brain, so your brain already has like a
trigger.
slot for it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a slot for it to go. Like it's and I believe like you get a big dose of it when you die too.
Mhm.
which
Right,
is-
I've heard
which
that
is
as
why-
well.
Which is why everybody has those like those bright
Bright
lights,
light, euphoric
Yeah,
feelings.
exactly. Yeah, like going to heaven or
Right,
whatever,
right.
whatever you believe in. Like that's where that comes from, I guess.
During that near-death experience
Yeah.
time, your brain releases like a shitload of it, I guess.
I think drugs are so, like the conversation of like drugs and what drugs to like try are such an interesting conversation because I'm the type of guy like I kind of want to try everything before I die, you know, like
Yeah,
but then
I'll try
apart-
anything once kind of
Yeah,
person.
but
but
I-
that, to
that-
some
to a certain extent, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like to what extent, at what point are you like going to a limit you can't come back, or you try a drug and you're like, okay, I'm hooked, you know,
Yeah,
or
right.
you know. But I do want to try hallucinogenics before I die, you
Yeah.
know, and I know I probably have to be in the right area, the right time, with the
The
right, people. Yeah,
is
exactly.
the most important thing. you know?
Not be on the
Yeah.
short ride with the little ride.
Don't do that in your first time.
Yeah.
If you're scared of big rides, don't go on the big ride.
I'm an experienced drug taker.
Yeah.
Quiet places are best for first timers.
Yeah.
Music festivals are not.
The
Right,
first
right.
time I was really introduced to that whole community was I went to Okeechobee Fest.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of those.
The first year it opened, me and my buddy did, and the only drugs we had done at the time were weed, and I think I might have tried coke.
It's not even a drug, bro.
Yeah, that's
right.
right. And the people we showed with, I met them on a cruise, and they're like, "Yo, we're coming down from Michigan. We're going to Okeechobee Fest. Come." So Okeechobee Fest is for you guys who don't know, is a 4-night festival. It's camping. There's this big campground that you stay in, and then you walk into the festival, and there's Ferris wheels, rides, 10 different stages. It's a whole experience. But that's the first time I got introduced to like mixing drugs. So people would take mushrooms, acid, pick it up with coke. It's like a
And there's
oh,
like
yeah.
names for it and
Yeah,
shit. Candy flipping and
yeah,
shit like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Molly whopping. They have,
Yeah.
you know that's actually a very regional thing because
Is it?
we used to call it candy flipping down here, but then like some girl I dated, some bartender I used to date that was from Jersey, she used to call it like molly whopping or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mastered the microdosing at Okeechobee Fest.
Yeah.
Because one year, first year I bought tickets and went, and did the whole thing with a girlfriend and stuff, and like lived it up. Next year I was a little on the money tight side, so I worked it.
Yeah.
So one buddy that was like got me involved, do like work the fest, you get free tickets, you get to hang out and stuff. So he gets to be a stock boy. So he hangs out in the AC with a couple chick bartenders and he just stocks the cooler.
Nice.
I got put as a fucking fry cook, sitting there all day long.
Yeah.
And I brought a bunch of as soon as I'm off, I want to go see these bands and stuff.
Right.
I'm at a music fest, I want a trip. So every day I just put like a couple of acid tabs in my water bottle, poke a hole in the top of it, and I'm sitting there cooking food, drinking this acid water. And halfway through the day it starts to really kick in. You just like get a little shaky with the fry pan.
Sure, these fries aren't cooked.
As soon as
They
that buzzer
told me
went
they were
on.
cooked, I swear.
The people told
Probably
me.
not FDA approved. Or whatever the food
Fries are
board is.
speaking to me, man.
I didn't want to hurt him anymore.
Some people might have gotten salmonella. I don't know.
Okay, so you said the word microdosing. It doesn't sound like you really did a microdose necessarily, but
That's the thing about microdosing with acid. I can never figure it out.
Really? Because you said you mastered it. Rewind the tape. All right? Let's hear it say that.
Mastered, it always worked really well.
It's like when you're scooping pre-workout, you're like, oh, throw a little bit more there. Why not?
tiny
See what
bit.
it does.
Exactly.
have you ever tried like actually microdosing for like not a
Festival.
hallucinogenic effect?
Well, yeah, the stuff that our buddy Channing was doing for a little
Right,
bit.
that's exactly almost
the
what I'm talking
microdose.
about.
Yeah, so
Right.
that stuff, that was great. I mean, there's so many properties and stuff from mushrooms that you can really get.
I had a great
benefits
experience with that stuff.
I did too, and I mean, it was at a time where I was just overrun with shows and stuff like that, and it was just like, and I was in like a depression mode and stuff at the time too,
You were
just
really
from
happy when you were
being worried. I
Right.
know, I tell you what.
Yeah, man.
So that was like a
That
time
stuff was
too
good.
where I had to like stop drinking for a bit because I was just overdoing it for myself. So I was taking those, and
Yep.
it was just, it gave me all this alertness. I was happy, like I couldn't just stop smiling all day long when I was at work, no matter how mean people were to me.
But you wouldn't describe it as high either, right? You wouldn't say that you were like geeked or high, right?
No,
it was
not
just
at
you.
all.
At
It
the
was
end of the
just
day, you're
like-
like, holy shit, that was a great day.
It was euphoric. You were just alert, you were awake, and you were just happy.
Yeah, man.
But just eventually they ran out.
And honestly,
I went back to life.
That's the misconception about psychedelics.
Yeah.
You have to take a decent amount to really see shit like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Like
Well, it depends.
well,
Depends on who you get it
it's more like melting reality. Like if you looked at this wall, the wall would maybe like
Right.
move a little
Yeah.
bit. You know,
But you don't see leprechauns running around and talking to you.
and it's really like acid and shrooms is like you just cannot stop laughing.
Yeah.
Like it's very it's fun, dude. Everything
Yeah.
just feel like, and you feel like energy. Like
Yeah, so
like
that's when you're overdoing it. But if you do it in like small doses and stuff, it's just like it really just
Super
it
subtle.
can cure depression.
Yeah,
it
very-
can it can.
I like what you said to end that statement too, and you said, and then all of a sudden they ran out, and I went back to life, and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
there was no, I need more of them. I ran out. I got to get some more.
Right.
You know, or man, my life sucks now because I didn't take a microdose today. Like
Yeah.
you stopped taking them, and
That's
then
it.
you went on.
Yeah,
with your
yeah. I
business.
took them from when I needed them, and then it was something that there was no withdrawals whatsoever. It was just
Yeah.
like it's time to like. I kind of learned that like it wasn't. And, it wasn't the situation. I just had to like get in a different headspace that
Right.
helped me find.
And that's something that I've read about microdosing a lot too, which was like the reason I love that we're talking about this now is we just talked about it kind of in depth on our last episode, but it was just the two of us, so it's nice to hear like an outside perspective. But also a point that I didn't make is like a direct side effect of microdosing either LSD or psilocybin, is I was saying it like repairs those synapses in your brain, right?
Yeah.
Fucking now, as I was saying this, I'm forgetting what my point was going to be.
But it does. It actually can repair parts of your brain that
Yeah.
have been lost and stuff from trauma or whatnot.
and it won't revert when you stop taking it. Is that what?
Yeah, sure,
what
that's
it
true.
was?
Also, I
don't
can't
know.
think of the main thing I was
you
going
need
to
a
say.
microdose, bro.
I don't know what
It's been too long. It's been too long.
but I don't know what the chemical differences are between like a cocaine or an Adderall or methamphetamine of anything and like a psychedelic. Like psychedelics, are they? No, I know that is, but are they addictive? Like a heroin, you take a hit. And they say, I've never done heroin, but they say it's the biggest high, and it's hard to, you always chase that high. It's very addictive.
Yeah, chasing
I
the
never
drug,
hear
yeah.
anyone say, yo, I've been traumally addicted to acid, or I've been really badly addicted to shrooms. Like
I think it is like I don't know the science behind it either, but my understanding is it is like the chemical makeup of those drugs that makes the difference. There's
Yeah.
an addictive component in opiates
yeah.
that humans and their brains get addicted to when you are exposed to it.
And that high.
And there's a dependence, like that
Well,
withdrawal sort of thing. Your
Yeah.
body craves it and needs it after it's had it.
Well, there's a thing between physical dependence and mentally dependence.
Sure.
Like things like heroin is both. I mean, none of us have ever done that. I've had a lot of friends.
We've got a lot of friends.
A lot of
lives to it.
Exactly. A lot of friends growing up doing Roxy's and stuff. So I've never taken a pain pill. I've never done an opiate my entire fucking life because of that.
Yeah.
But I've done fucking basically everything else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's in our line of work, you've got to run for nights on end and stuff like that, so the uppers always come into play every now and then, and you know,
and to that point, with you know the long term, you know, I won't say goals. Not all of us need, you know, specific goals, but when you picture your life in 5-10 years, is it continuing to play in the band? Do you want to set up things where you're managing music and producing it? I mean, how does that roll when you picture your life? You're not recently engaged. I mean, what is that looking like?
Well, that's kind of like where we, you know, with this last year and so where we're trying to get the studio going. I mean, it's kind of like a next move, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, at what point do we not want to set the goal to get on the road and road dog it and play for no money to no people, but then the next night you could play to 100 people, but still there's not much money. You got to ask for help along the way everywhere you go, and you got to really grind it. I mean, you got to like sleep on floors, sleep in a van with 6 dudes, and just travel across the nation for a month at a time, and we've done it.
Yeah.
But, and you know, as I'm getting older and my back hurts and I don't want to sleep on floors anymore, like, you know, starting a music studio would be cool, give back to our, you know, music community. And we're very passionate about, you know, being creative. So just like finding another outlet to be creative, which is in, you know, making these videos, recording these other bands and stuff in the area. So that's a great thing for us to really be working on. And at the same time, we still love to play shows. Like when COVID happened, you crave playing shows. It's just... your whole body and mentality and stuff is just gone because you don't have that high of playing in front of people anymore.
And that emotional give back that they give to you when they're listening to your music.
Yeah, so that kind of sucks when you don't play out anymore. So we're trying to do a little bit of both, you know, and balance between having like more of outlets of the studio life and something to fall back on, and then still being able to play out all the time. We're staying busy with shows and stuff. So
it's the hard part of being a musician is like making that choice. Like I dropped out of college to play music.
Yeah, everybody got to live the dream and stuff.
You know, and I mean,
but there's not record sales anymore. So how do you monetize and stuff and still stay in the industry?
Yeah.
So
That's a question I have too. Like for these artists that are on like Spotify, Apple Music, because that's the thing these days, right? Do they sign a deal with Spotify where no matter how much plays I get, you get to have my music and the licenses to that, or is it per play? I mean, how does
you
how
get
does that
paid per play, like 0.0000176.00 of a cent.
Yeah,
Really?
It's
per play.
Fucking ridiculous. I mean, we have some songs on there with like 100,000 plays or something.
Yeah,
on
we get like a
Spotify,
$16 check every year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No,
The whole band, so we get to split up $16 between 6 of us.
Come on.
We get a 12-pack.
Yeah, we get a case of Modelo's.
Yeah, maybe, man. Modelo's spiking up too. It's like $18 for a fucking 12-pack.
Yeah, inflation, man. They gotta incorporate these. We should at least get like 0.005 of.
Yeah, we gotta adjust the
But I feel
residuals.
like that's off compared to records. Like, so say 20 years ago you sold a CD for $15 and you made $7.
The band would not make that.
You still got like distribution. You got to pay your manager, then you got to pay your agent, and then you got to pay your distribution. But you're probably getting $3 off of a $15 album.
And back then, when you the way fucking recording studios work, which a lot of people don't know, is that like a recording studio will give you like they'll give you a fucking $1 million signing bonus. You have to pay that shit back, bro. Okay, so like if you
in what sense?
In what sense? Like they'll give you $1 million to go. Well, back in the day when they were doing music videos, they give you like $1 million to go record this. So it's like they give you the money, and then you go to a recording studio and record your album. Okay. And then you would go and make your video. Yeah. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want with the money. You can go spend it. You can do whatever. If your record, and then they take a lot of percentage off. They take all of your record sales until that record company gets fucking paid back.
So they're just like fronting you.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And if you don't get it back, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
And like
you get dropped.
And not only that, like a lot of those artists don't own their own music. Like the record company owns it. Right. It's part of their contract, and that's one of the biggest things that like nowadays our artists are heading towards smaller studios because like look, you can do this in your room in your house. You know,
Right, yeah.
Like the technology is becoming so widely available. Like you can get it done like at least 90%, like 90% quality of what like any other recording studio is going to charge you to do.
Yeah.
And it's all DIY. You do it yourself. You know?
And to the naked ear, I don't hear the difference. You know,
No,
like
yeah.
to you guys,
You
hear the
guys would
difference.
probably notice, yeah.
But to a regular consumer, I don't know the difference in the.
You really can, even for us, you really can't though. I mean, the quality's there with technology now that you can do all this in such a, people record them in their houses now, and this with the plugins and stuff that you can get, and you got professional recording at your fingertips on a laptop.
Sometimes I'll even listen to podcasts that I'm like fans of. They're like fucking big scale podcasts, and I'm like, damn, his audio sounds like shit right now.
Yeah.
I listened to this podcast. I watched a few episodes last night, and I was
And
like,
you were
"Holy
thinking
shit,
the same
this is
thing."
really good. I was just like, I'm getting butterflies.
It's
It's
like,
really
I
good.
can bring in some stuff from my studio.
Yeah.
Like, I got you.
Our engineer's in the bathroom right now.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it sounded great from everything I watched. So
Thanks,
it's
man.
legit. Yeah, so
That's
it's great,
cool.
man.
Thank you.
Love the setup here. Thank you for having us.
So I'd like to ask like funny, integral questions about like personalities and like what you believe in and whatnot. So like, if I were to ask you, would you rather believe in like aliens or ghosts? Which one would you say?
Oh man, see, this is the tough one.
Aliens for me, 100%.
Yeah.
Not that I would rather, but I think I believe more in ghosts. Actually, I think I believe in both of them. But
Yeah.
I swear I've seen aliens. I swear I've seen ghosts. So
Really?
it's just like,
Yeah.
Which one would I rather believe in?
Yeah.
Ghost, actually, because aliens freak me the fuck out.
That
Just
was
like
my
that guy
answer too,
looking
I
through the
think.
window wanting to probe your buttholes.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay.
one take. Like,
You go right to anal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew we were friends.
That's what I heard. That's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard.
Well, no, like I mean,
What is ghost gonna do? Just
listen,
slide through?
I'm a big science and math nerd, so like when I say I believe in aliens, like I'm not in the like the conventional sense of little fucking green Martians like trying to put shit in your butt.
Yeah.
Like,
What do
it's
you
more
think?
Like, well, no, dude. I mean, there's billions and billions of stars and billions of galaxies that we can't even fucking see yet. And,
The odds that something else isn't out there
like
is
you know,
slim.
there's got to be at least bacterial life somewhere. There's definitely bacterial life even in maybe our solar system that we haven't even been able to.
And I guess by
explore yet.
definition, that's an alien, right?
Yeah, absolutely anything. But intelligent life, I still think 100% there is. But I feel like if they came to, if they even found out about us and then saw how fucked up the human race is, then it's like, nah, that's an actual scientific terminology that they came up. I forget what it's called.
That's what they keep flying over New Mexico. They're like,
Yeah.
these places are shitholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're.
What are they doing down
I
there?
don't want fucking COVID. Let's get out of here.
I didn't bring a mask. Did you bring a mask?
No, I think it's crazy, bro, and I think aliens are, and especially in our generation, like a lot of people, I would say at least 75% believe in aliens, you know, and
I think the number grows every day.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, especially they just NASA and stuff confirmed that they have
What'd they confirm?
identified. Well, I thought this last year or two.
What? Don't start trying to talk about.
Nah, do it. We do it all the time. We say crazy shit.
Okay,
Just say it.
let him go, dude. Let him go.
People will
Tom,
comment
that
and tell
guy
us
from
we're wrong.
Blink-182.
It's okay.
That guy from Blink-182, NASA said he was right and that there was an identified flying object.
I love that there was a band correlation. The guy from Blink-182 said so,
His
bro.
name's Tom DeLonge, okay? There's a reason he's not in the band anymore, right?
I don't know, but I heard.
He was on the big ride too.
So when we've talked about this on a previous episode, the aliens thing, and I kind of said the same thing. Like I think I definitely believe in aliens, but at the time it was because I had just watched like a couple clips that were like verified to be like authentic clips that I think like the military had submitted, you know, and it was like some spaceship that they saw or some object they saw flying. I mean, it like
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
unrealistic speeds.
floating
you
pill?
know? Yeah, that.
Yeah.
But
Maybe that's what I'm talking about.
and that has been convincing me since I've seen that. They're like, man, well, what the fuck was that? You know, like. But I just watched this other YouTube video the other day of this dude flying a drone that is like absurdly fast.
Yeah.
And it almost is like the same sort of movements where it's like lightning bolt
So
speed.
nowadays, how are you supposed to know?
Now
All
it's like,
visual
oh, well, fuck.
effects and like
Maybe there's
drones.
just some government drone that they were testing out that the military didn't know about. Now I'm skeptical. So I'm not as positive. I'm not a skeptic either.
Well,
but
they had like it was like the Navy that saw that or something, and like
Right.
they had like all sorts of different equipment that was monitoring it. Like
it gave off no heat.
Yeah, like and that kind of stuff. Like if you see a drone, it's a fucking it's 4 electric motors with a battery. That's gonna pick up on infrared.
Something,
you know?
right?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
And they had all this diagnostic equipment that was like
none of it made sense.
It couldn't all be malfunctioning at the same time. And then you have a super experienced Navy pilot who fucking flies like fast as fuck jets for a living, and he can't explain it. Like like so like
I had the same logic. I almost agree with you.
Yeah. But like I mean I'm always skeptical about everything. Like, you know, it's like that's still not 100% proof for me. But like,
right.
Like when you see like,
but I sort of believe it.
Yeah, I know. Right? Like when you see the military like fucking have the same reaction you are, you're like, okay,
Damn, dude.
okay.
That guy went to college. He knows. I don't know, but that guy should know.
Imagine his student debt.
I mean, they could do anything with drones now. They made an ostrich fly with one. Did you see that? Yeah, there's this YouTube video. They like took a stuffed ostrich. This guy's dead ostrich.
Stuffed ostrich.
Okay.
They took a real ostrich.
Well, it was real, but then they stuffed it.
Like a
What's the drone in?
What's the term for
stuffed animal? I was like, yeah, you can strap a stuffed animal to a drone too.
No, it was a legit ostrich that they like
taxidermy
this thing, and they make it fly around the park.
I would love to hear the argument picking an ostrich. Like,
what's the most absurd thing we could put on this drone?
Because they don't
alpaca.
It's the only bird that doesn't fly, so it's like,
yeah, but a penguin would have been way cuter.
I forgot penguins don't fly either.
Far less radical though. You know, ostrich was perfect.
Yeah.
I've got a random question for Ryan, the drummer.
Yes.
You know, like when you went to church as a kid, or maybe you didn't, but the drummer was always encased in like a plexiglass cage. Why'd they do that?
It's called microphone bleed. So like you'll have all the vocal mics up front, and then it's usually the cymbals. So you know the
So like the singer's mic will pick up the sound of the drums.
Yep. And also for volume as well. I played a few gigs that have it. It's actually really good for things like that. For it's just to kind of like separate your like drums are very very like aggressive sounding, especially in a place like a church where it's enclosed. Like it's not like you guys have some good deadening here, but if there was none of that here, it would be super ringy every time I clapped. And then imagine a drum set in here.
Right.
So I mean, I guess churches have tall ceilings or whatnot, but yeah.
They also usually have noise deafening panels, I guess, for that exact reason.
Yeah. So that's the main reason for that. I fucking hate them.
The only reason I know about mic bleed is because these podcasts, Nick doesn't have an inside voice, and usually when he talks and he's passionate about something, he talks like this, and so like everyone's microphone picks it up, and I learned. That's when I learned about mic bleed.
That's exactly what it is.
So we're just gonna put you in a plexiglass cage.
Just get like
device.
Yeah, right.
Do you guys have mics in front of you when you play? Like as far as secondary, like.
I don't sing. I have a terrible.
The guitar is hooked up to an amp, which is like a big mic, right?
I mean, we just recently like really grown our live sound, and now every single thing is mic'd. So a lot of restaurants we play will be able to send a signal to their house sound, so you can get it outside if they have an outside patio.
Right.
Because if not everything's mic'd, all you'd hear is like the vocals and like. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah. As loud as you can bang the drum.
Yeah, we started recording some shows, and it really balances out the sound, too, when we have everything mic'd up. But, like, a couple of us do harmonies and stuff for vocals, and then you mic up your amps, and your everything's kind of going out the same levels.
What's your favorite band ever?
That's a good question. I mean, I could give you like 4 or 5, but like, and then it changed. You know, it always changes, and it always changes on my mood. I don't know, like, we both like Blink-182. Like Blink-182.
Yeah, we grew up on like pop punk, Blink, and then like I got into garage rock and stuff, the Strokes. Then
Red Chili Peppers type vibe.
Love Chili Peppers. John Frusciante is one of my favorite guitar players for sure. Got tickets to see them coming up, so I'm stoked with the Strokes.
Really?
Yeah.
Chili Peppers coming with the Strokes?
Yeah, and Thundercat.
What? And Thundercat?
Yeah, down to Hard Rock.
When? How much
Hard Rock.
We're going to fucking sneakers after, baby. Holy shit. Bring the acid, bro.
I was about to say, those tickets are going to be fucking
$200 for fucking nosebleed. I probably won't even get to see him.
Oh, dude.
My sister just booked tickets to Denver. She's seeing Trevor Hall at the Red Rocks.
Who's Trevor Hall?
The Lime Tree. The Lime Tree. Okay.
I know the name Trevor Hall.
Red Rock's a sick venue, though, right?
Red Rock's
Trevor Hall,
great
he almost got to play on. That's one of both of our, like, you know, everyone's like, my dreams to play Madison Square Garden. My dreams to play fucking
Red Rocks.
Red Rock's beautiful.
I had a good friend of mine who, like, he had an apartment like driving up to his apartment, there's the street, you see Red Rocks on the right-hand side, and then he lived right there. So like, and that was the first, I've never even been there before, but I actually got to see it from afar.
That's why they put cages up in front of microphones.
A fucking pop screen, you idiot.
It's for the nosebleed.
Yeah.
You can tell that he doesn't run the studio.
But it's cool because they're going to Denver and like, you know, they smoke recreationally. I'd say like once a week or whatever. But you're able to go to a dispensary and be like, hey, I'm looking for like a chill vibe, you know, nothing crazy. And it's like going to a bar, saying like, hey, I want to get tipsy, like I just chill, you know, whatever.
Make me something sweet, but
Yeah,
not too sweet.
Yeah.
The fucking worst. I want it sweet but strong.
Yeah.
But it's
You
crazy
just drip
how
some
medical.
But not a lemon
It
drop.
is.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. Whenever even to this day, like, you know, he has his medical marijuana card, and I know the shit. Like, whenever we smoke together, it's real and whatever. But I still smoke it and be
real.
like, hey, fuck it, whatever happens, happens, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'd be.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like, you know, like I'm getting high, fuck it, you know.
Whatever happens, happens.
You know, indica, stevia, whatever the fuck it is, you know.
Stevia.
Call this deer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
anglers.
In the face, you know. But I think it'd be really cool to be like, yo, like, you know, hit me with a little bit of, you know, paprika over here, you know, and give me a little
Little
spicy.
DMT?
Yeah.
Maybe one day in our next Boys Only podcast, I'll just sneak over a DMT joint and not tell anybody.
Do you smoke DMT or is it tap?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you smoke
smoke
it.
it.
Yeah.
Like when I got it, I actually knew the guy who was extracting it. He would order the fucking wood from Africa, and then he would extract it. I don't know how he did it, but he would extract it onto a nug of weed. So, so you'd give him a nug, and then he would bring it back to you, and then like what they say to do is, I've done it twice. The first time, like, I didn't go crazy into like the realm where you like pass out and you like have crazy hallucinative visions. But the second time I did, I went into my room all by myself, all the lights off, super closed, and then you rip the thing as hard as you can and hold it in for as hard as you can. And as soon as you exhale, at least for me, it felt like every pore on my body opened up and
Oh
like
my
life
God.
and like life rushed into my body. And,
Holy
See,
shit.
I don't know if I'd like that feeling.
No,
You know?
dude, no, it was,
In the best way
Yeah.
possible.
Dude, yeah, like it was amazing, dude. It was
Yeah?
really cool. Yeah. And I had like a little blue flashing light on my TV when it was on standby, and like I went into that light, and then like I was in like this blue world, dude. It was
Yeah. Wow.
fucking nuts, dude.
But now they've just put it in vape pens. You wouldn't even
Right,
have somebody in
right.
the
Oh,
bar.
no way, really?
Yeah, I don't know where you can get them, but it's a thing.
Where have you been? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody was handing them out at O'Shea's one night, just like, here, hit my pen, whatever. And like, if you didn't know, I think it was somebody walked up and like didn't know what it was and hit it, and all of a sudden like,
Woo.
back
That's
in
a
the chair for like
slippery
30
slope.
minutes. And I
Holy
was just
shit.
like, oh man, that's crazy. I was like, nah, I don't want to know
I'm
that.
good on that one.
Ryan saying, "Oh, really?" When he hits his vape pen, just DMT'd out. That was
Never heard of
crazy. Yeah, that's a crazy thing about Okeechobee Fest, though. Is like the exchanging of drugs I had never seen before. Like we would chill at our camp, and there'd be people walking around like guys at ballparks, like you know, like Cracker Jacks.
water.
Yeah.
That's what we're walking around Okeechobee Fest like, meow.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The kitty ketamine.
Yeah.
The kitty meow.
You know,
meow.
the kitty, yeah.
That's so funny.
When we were
nobody
at that same festival in England, like we got lucky enough to be able to. We were staying at, there was a separate campsite for all the artists.
Okay.
So like. Every musician, we kind of have this kind of sort of camaraderie. So
Yeah, of course.
like that's where we got the acid from. You got some ketamine from that one chick
Yeah.
that you didn't share with anybody.
Like one little bit.
Yeah.
Again, the artists parking. They're not the wealthiest people at the music festival.
And then we were in the Magical Forest. Remember when we also took ecstasy one night. And we,
Again, just the forest. Probably.
no,
Well,
yeah, no, and then Hunter was like, we were both coming down. Hunter's like, yo, go ask that guy over there from Holland. And like, I fucking like faced
Meow,
off,
meow,
like,
meow, meow, meow.
like, hey, you know any drugs? Like, get the fuck away from me, dude.
This was a big turning point in the festival when I saw a lady walk by the campsite with a bunch of balloons. I'm like, damn, she's selling balloons. That's pretty cool.
I know,
And a
the
bunch of
helium.
people look at me and they're like, it's not balloons.
That's
It's
nitrous.
a CO2.
Yeah, it's
Right.
nitrous.
And I'm like, okay, this is not a...
Right.
CO2 is carbon.
There was a dude that got caught.
That's what you breathe out.
I
That's
didn't
what
go
a
to
normal
college.
balloon has in it, actually, if you just blow it up. It's CO2.
There was some sketchy shit that weekend though. I know a guy was walking around where he said hand sanitizer, but it was actually acid. So like people,
my
so like he'd be like, "Hey, you want some hand sanitizer?" And he'd put it in your hand and you put it together.
See, like, I saw some article.
What the fuck are these guys?
Yeah, no,
I saw some article the other day that this lawyer just got arrested for bringing like coke-drenched papers into the jail. Like that's how they were bringing coke into the jail, by having like the papers and stuff were like covered in coke residue.
Yeah.
That's how they were bringing it to inmates.
And then you
stuff.
soak the paper in the water absorbs all the coke, and then you evaporate the water,
Man,
and all you have is coke.
wow.
I never did it.
Oh, wow, Pete.
I never did it, I heard. I knew a
Oh, wow,
guy.
yeah. Then you add some baking soda, put that in there, pour
I don't know
that
the
down,
recipe, I'm just saying.
and then you sift it out, and now you have crack. I mean, I've never done that.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, science, I guess. I don't know, but drugs are getting crazy.
Most drugs are water soluble.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's why like weed stays in your body so long. It's fat. So that's why you have, whenever you cook weed, you have to put it in butter because the THC connects to the fat molecules. The lipids is what they are called actually.
That I was a chemist.
My dog.
Anything?
I told you I went to college for a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got an important question for both of the boys this
Yeah.
time. You taking $50K cash, or are you gonna flip a coin for $4 million?
50K
50K cash.
Yeah,
Invest it.
Nick.
I'm flipping a fucking coin, man.
Hey, I'm a gambler too, man. Like, don't get me in a casino. I'll stay.
You
in all
guys
fucking
answered
night.
that quick. I was surprised.
We really need money.
You realize we're musicians, right? I'm $23 in my pocket, and that's my food budget for the rest of the week.
So how's that music industry going when Spotify plays?
that $16 check though.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
But I've never been one with luck. I wouldn't chance it.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing with like when you ask if you win the lottery, if you're going to take the 20 years, pay it over,
Or you take it all at once.
Which you take the lump sum. And
Yeah.
you put that into an ETF, and like even at like 1% dividends or whatever, you're still making like $100,000 a year,
Yep.
$100K a year. I'm just fucking that passive income that Warren Buffett always talks about. That I don't have at all.
If you win $10 million, though, I mean, how are you breaking that down?
If I get the mills,
How much you giving your family? Each family member, if you win
It's
10 million.
Dude, I wouldn't tell
100,000
my family
each?
watches this.
I wouldn't tell
9 million. I'll keep one.
I wouldn't tell anybody I won the lottery.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the truth. I probably would tell almost nobody,
Yeah.
and just start blessing people randomly, and then
Yeah.
like, God damn, man,
No,
that guy Pete's a good guy. The
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
must be doing great.
He did a whole sleeve the other day. So
How much do you think you get paid for 130 views
by the
on
way,
YouTube?
By the way, Pete, listen, I've known Pete, we worked at Bradley's together, okay?
Yes.
We worked
Like
in the kitchen together.
2013.
Yeah, a long time ago. You were driving a fucking Honda 250 motorcycle that
That's
we all made
right.
fun of you about.
Yep.
'Cause who the fuck
Basically
buys
a scooter.
250? Yeah. But
A
and
cool
then-
looking scooter.
Yeah, but then you just randomly start fucking doing tattoos. Have you always been I'm sorry, I'm taking over your podcast.
No,
but have you
no,
always-
I love
Have
it.
you always been artistic? Because I never fucking knew that.
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
one of mine.
Yeah, that's right. Hunter's got some Picasso on him.
Sweet, dude. I gotta get in there, man. Because I got nothing. I got like 2 tattoos, bro.
Let me know, dude. But to answer your question, yeah, I've been an artist my whole life. Like as a kid, I used to draw and paint like for fun at the house. My mom would set up like still lifes for me, and I'd just
cool,
draw. I mean, I played video games and did normal kid shit too.
True.
But I liked to draw. I was always artistic, and there's a middle school here, Bach Middle School of the Arts.
Oh yeah. My friend's mom was a teacher there, English teacher.
I went there for visual arts, which is just drawing, paint, anything artistic like that.
Yeah,
But you can go for like dance and music and other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that all through middle school, and like then as I got older, I wanted to play like football and baseball, so I ended up going to Dwyer High School. I didn't go to Dreyfus.
Got it, yeah.
But even today, like there's still things that I learned in that middle school because it was just fun. You every day instead of taking like normal electives, you take art classes and you learn like the fundamentals of art.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I still use that shit every day now, because
yeah,
I'm
dude.
back
Yeah.
to doing art every day.
Yeah,
For
dude,
sure.
that's sick.
Yeah, and I mean, even with this stuff.
Now how's that equating the art to how's the learning curve on like actually doing art on skin, like super fucking permanent? Like did you practice with a pen on paper and be like, I'm drawing this one try, like no fuck ups or else like that person's gonna get fucking pissed off at me?
That's actually a great question. I think so. To answer the first part, like the learning curve is steep, obviously, because even if you're used to drawing with a pencil and on paper for your whole life, using a needle on skin is not necessarily the same thing. But like I was saying, having the fundamental understanding of art and like knowing where how light sources work, where the shading belongs, and what's gonna make something aesthetically look the way it's supposed to look. that doesn't change whether you're talking about paper or skin, you know?
Yeah,
so
of
understanding what I need to do to the image to make it look like what it's supposed to look like.
Because your composition of the art piece that you're doing. Because like when I first started saw you post up tattoo pics, I was like, fuck, these are clean as shit. Like all your shit. Like I saw lettering. Like all your lettering is super clean.
Thank you.
Know, like that's.
I'm also extremely OCD, which I think works in my favor in this area. You know.
So now, what do you do when you're not podcasting?
I'm a contractor.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
very nice.
So-
he built this thing.
Do you general or do you
General contractor,
Okay,
yes.
so I mean, well, like if you were to get subcontracted out for something, like what would your specialty be, like drywall or?
So my trade, I guess you would say, is like I'm a framer by trade.
Oh, okay.
You know, I could build anything you really want.
There we go. We need a sound booth.
Yeah.
Our studio.
I actually want to close off a part of our thing and build a wall.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, all
Let
right,
me know. I got my card right there. But yeah,
Sick.
my dad has been in construction his entire life. And then I dropped out of college after a year and a half and bounced around from industry to industry, from hospitality to personal training to everything in between. And finally hit him up when I was 21 and said I want to give it a shot. And that was 6 years ago, you know. And, you know, like any industry, there's ups and downs to it. But if you do contracting right, you can make a lot of money doing it. And it's really cool to be able to transform something. And it's a dying industry in our generation. So when our parents' generation retires off, there's going to be a huge gap in the industry as far as people to run jobs. The labor will always come in and out, but the people to know and get hired for the jobs on a wider scope is definitely necessary and needed. So I'm excited for that. You know, there's a lot of pressure. The contracts I deal with are $500,000 plus. So as a 26-year-old kid, you know, it can get stressful. But I like being able to be my own boss. I like being able to have that entrepreneurial spirit of if I want to make X, I can make X. And that's ultimately up to me. It all falls on me. I'd never wanted to be in a job or be settled into a career path that there were ceilings because I just hate ceilings. You know, in the end of the day, I know if I'm not providing enough for my family, that's all on me. It's not because a corporation or a boss said, well, this is, you know, your salary and this is your possible bonus and that's it, you know. In the end of the day, as you guys as musicians and business owners, if you guys really want to push the envelope and create, that's up to you, you know. And at the end of the day, it's all on your plate. And I think that's where the underlying stress comes from, is because at the end of the day, you know it's on you. And you know if you're not performing, it's on you. And that's where a lot of this writer's block, if you want to call it, or from a creative sense, or from us, if jobs aren't calling, you know, it could keep you up at night. But in the end of the day, if you know that you provide the best service you can, you wake up every day, you do everything you can, that's all the fuck you could do. You know? So in the end of the day, it's all you could ask for. So no, I'm excited about it. I am ADD as fuck, so you know I always like to have other ventures on the board, like the podcast, like you know.
How'd you guys get into this?
So me and Pete love talking. I love people. I love hearing people's stories, and getting to know where people got to where they are today. And so with people coming on and hearing their stories, a lot of them being artists or this or that, but also with the Millennial Mentality, the point of this podcast was I wanted to get people that haven't really made it yet, right? They're not, on the Joe Rogan podcast, he has doctors, he has celebrities, he has people that have made it, right? I wanted people to come on that are on the path, which in my opinion is the more beautiful aspect of the whole journey, right? It's how you got there. So I wanted to create a thing of, you know, in your late 20s, 30s, and even early 40s, where it's like, listen, I'm on this path. I don't know where it's going to end up yet, but this is my journey. This is how I'm going. Because it's relatable. And people could watch it and be like, damn, bro, I really wanted to do that too. I want to start my own band in my garage with a couple buddies and see where it went. And maybe they might be inspired to do that because of listening to you guys now, you know? Awesome. So as I always say, we're all a lot more relatable than we think. But when you talk about it and when you speak about it, you realize that we're all similar. And we all have these passions and dreams. So try to go after it, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you
so
guys.
yeah, man, we're really excited. We're going to keep pushing it. And on that note, is there anything, you know, to the final words to the people you guys want to say as far as following your path?
Anything you guys want to plug? Any shows you got coming up?
Sure. I mean, by all means,
yeah.
I mean, always go for your goals and stuff like that. But if you ever want to find out how to follow us, we're, again, Spread the Dub. You can find us on Facebook.
SPRED.
SPRED.
I'll put everything in the description.
Yeah.
TUB.
I don't even know what our shows are. I never know our shows till like the day before.
But you can always find out our shows through our website.
On Facebook or like, what do we
Facebook, website. We're on Twitter. We're on Ryan's on Grindr.
FarmersOnly.com.
We're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music.
Find them at Sneakers
You
from
can find
5 to
us-
7 a.m.
Hey, you didn't listen. Sneakers is closed at 7.
No, they open
Willie's.
at
Oh,
7.
they open at 7. Yeah.
If there's anyone out there that wants to inquire about the recording space or linking up with you guys
That's
there.
it.
That's 4010 Studios. It's right on 4010 Georgia. If you want to, it's like a chill spot, man. If you want to come hang out, play some music, jam, like
And learn.
we're always there. We're always hanging out. I'm going there right now.
Yep, we hold events and stuff, so follow 4010 on Facebook and Instagram. But yep, we're always doing something, so
That's awesome.
keep your eyes open.
Guys, that is Ryan and Hunter. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in this week. This is the Millennial Mentality. Peace. That was awesome, guys.
Yo, man.
Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah. Sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Rather flip a boat, nigga, I still serve a zip. I remember being broken, I was down bad on my dick. And she used to call me ugly, now let shawty let me hit. Wait, well maybe it's just bully, got a nigga confident. Remember all them dreams that I had when I was legit. They're like, yeah, I love the streets, but I'm still gon' go legit. Cause you know I need that German with that brand new fucking tip. Fell in love with them foreigns, watching a nigga Euro step. Got me feeling like I'm hardened, cause I'm plugged in with the ref. Like if you touch me wrong, you might get hit with this tech. Let them birds fly like a nigga causing rest. And I swear they broke my heart when I seen them. But that shit, it made me strong. Now I'm right back on my best. Like bitches, leave me alone. Why I get linked on this tech? Like little bitches, leave me alone. Unless you gonna try that neck. Like little bitches, leave me alone. Unless you talking about a check. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Yeah.